I'm the greatest.
What is up? Welcome to Toke and a Talk. You are here with Kendra. What's up, Kenj?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. And myself, Mandy Elam. And we have an incredible guest tonight, our beautiful soul sister and dear friend, and a wonderful contributor to Sea Goddess Healing Arts, Lexi Duquette, our mermaid in the mountains. Welcome, Lex. How are you tonight?
Good. I'm so excited and honored to be here because I have been a big fan of Toke and a Talk now for every episode I'm sharing and commenting on. So this is such an honor. So thank you, ladies.
We're excited.
Yeah.
Will you tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit of your journey with Mama Canna and like why you were a fan, shall we say?
Yeah. So I am a mom and a human being going through on this crazy planet, and this beautiful plant has been something that has really helped me in so many ways. I've experienced the bad side though, the stigmas, which living in fear of being proud of an all natural medicine is something that I'm starting to finally fight back on because it's a gift. It's just a beautiful, beautiful plant that is here to help and help heal. And it's complementary to other plants. And we're just kind of like plants. We need to be watered too, and we need sun. And it works great with some bodies. Maybe not everybody, but some people it works great for. And I've been one of those people. And so it's helped me break free from limiting beliefs of different diagnoses like ADD, depression, anxiety. It's helped me in so many ways do the shadow work too for traumas and dramas in my life, and be able to look at myself and make changes and just ground in and slow down for a minute and see things. It's such a loving plant, and I feel like this plant truly represents love and community and kindness and gratitude. So I just can't believe that people hate it so much and are so against it. So it's all about the love.
Closer though, we're building that bridge a little. It's not like it used to be, right? Like people are finally like, fuck it.
Exactly. And that's the exciting part, is that we need to come out and say this and talk about it. And that's why what you girls do here on Toke and a Talk is so vital and important, because you create a safe container and a safe space to be able to have these conversations without feeling like you're going to be ridiculed or judged, because there's just it's just a safe place to talk about it. So I wouldn't go just anywhere and talk about it, but I feel like we do need to be having this conversation in safe spaces for those that want to be having it. It's not for everybody, but I think it's worth, everybody should listen, right, and hear. So thank you girls for what you're doing, for creating and holding the space, because of you guys and your bravery, I'm ready to speak up too.
Nice. Aww. Love you.
Yeah. It's mutual.
Mm-hmm. Kendra, do you want to introduce our topic tonight about what we're going to jam about a little bit?
Awesome. Sure. So tonight is, I guess it's a pretty important night to me, just because I've been not wanting to have this conversation. And I'm glad that Lexi brought up the fact that this is our safe time to fucking have the talk, and I don't know. I'm so full of emotion right now that I don't know. I have like a lot of fire in me about this. And then I also have like this paranoia. I have this fear. I have I don't know. It's just a lot. It's a lot. But basically, I struggle with knowing that I can definitely be looked at as somebody who is not sober, because I partake in marijuana and I have plant medicine in my life. And you know, it, you know, like I was telling Mandy earlier, it doesn't make me say, oh, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go drink, you know, I'm gonna go get wasted, I'm gonna go have alcohol. Doesn't make me want to do any drugs, you know, it doesn't make me want to trip acid, it doesn't make me want to do Molly, it doesn't make me want to fucking shoot heroin, you know, it just, it's all of that shit that I don't do, I don't touch, I don't want that in my life anymore. But somebody who's recovering from addiction and isms and just, you know, basically in rehab, I had to admit that I was a fucking basically a garbage disposal. You know, it was the fucking truth. That's what I was. I would ingest anything and everything. And usually I was fucking wasted drunk and I couldn't make a decision and I would just wanted the pain to stop and I would partake in whatever the fuck was around and black out, you know, for nights on end, for years. That's how I lived my life. You know, I lived out of a car. I was fucking homeless for a little bit. I would shower in the fucking hotels in Atlantic City just to get clean. And that's how I fucking lived. And I was young. You know, I was a fucking baby. I wasn't even 21 yet. So been there, done that shit. So for me, when I was sober, you know, completely sober, if that's what you want to call it, you know, where I had no not medications, but I had no substances in me. Okay. No marijuana, no cocaine, no alcohol, no acid, no whatever, no pain pills. You know, I did that. I fucking did that. And I did that for like 12 fucking years. And I am glad that my journey went the way it did. I'm glad that I can say that I did that and I saved my fucking life. You know what I mean? And that's my business. But what bothers me is that someone like me who was so stressed out and just trying to manage, you know, I had a fucking heart attack on my 39th birthday. I dropped the fuck dead because of stress and anxiety and pressure and just not dealing, just not being able to digest life, not being able to stomach fucking life as a sober mom who, you know, sober wife, sober employee, whatever the fuck I was, you know, and I was going to meetings and I was working a program, but, you know, anyone who was around me would have told me I wasn't doing good enough, you know, that they needed to do this or I needed to do that or I, you know, whatever. And I'm not making excuses. I just know that I was terrified to think that there I was laying in bed wanting to fucking die because of the amount of pain, physical pain that I was in with nerve blockers and Cymbalta and whatever the fuck they were giving me for all this pain that I was feeling, and then gave me a diagnosis. And I just am grateful. I am grateful that I was so desperate to go on my cell phone and look up, you know, natural medicine, holistic medicine, whatever the fuck I typed in that night, you know, this medical marijuana in New Jersey program came up and it saved my life because I was so terrified to do that because I was being told that I was going to get drunk. I was told I was going to get drunk. I was told I was going to get fatter because of my diabetes, that I was gonna have the munchies and that I was gonna eat all this shit and it wasn't good for my heart or my diabetes. So I was being told all of these things. I was being, fear was just being thrown at me and I was terrified. And then I just was like, you know what? I'm that desperate right now that I will try anything. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And once I went through the courses and learned that it was medicine and it was a plant, I got more comfortable with it and I medicinally took marijuana. Now I am just grateful that however the fuck I got there, whether I had to go through that or whether I had to, you know, who knows, you know, but like I am just grateful that I still choose not to be drinking, right? I choose not to be drugging. That's my choice every day, whether I'm alcoholic or not, whatever I am. My choice every day is just how my life's going to go. So if I wake up and I don't want to fucking drink, I don't. And thank God I haven't had the feeling to do that. But marijuana or cannabis, just, it's safe and it's a medicine to me, and I enjoy it. And I'm allowed to have joy in my life. I'm allowed to have pleasure. I'm allowed to use medicine to help me balance your stress with joy, and it's like, I just love that this medicine doesn't give me side effects. It doesn't interact with my other medications. It's can be easily grown, it's like Mandy was talking about parsley earlier, how it just grows everywhere, it's like same with this, like this shit can grow anywhere and we can use it for so many things. So
can solve a lot of fucking problems, right?
Yes, a lot of problems. But so the topic that I'm avoiding,
you share as much or as little as you want, sister.
It's just,
we can talk about anything.
But this is I just have to say it, you just have to say it sometimes out loud to yourself. Like when you're in recovery and you're recovering from all the isms, it doesn't matter what the fuck they are. That if you're using mama cannabis to rock you to sleep at night or to keep you fucking sane, gives a shit. Like I'm over it. I'm over the stigma of the whole thing. And again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a counselor. I'm nothing. All I am is somebody that can share my experience with it. And that is that I use it as a medicine, and it has not made me want to party and get wasted and rip my clothes off and fucking crash my car. That has just not happened for me. Thank God. But I did take the chance. I crossed that bridge of fear in the program and said, I mean, thank you for your opinion. Thank you for your time, but you're not fucking me. You're not waking up in the middle of the night wanting to die and saw off your arms because you're in so much fucking pain. So fuck you. I'm going to take this plant that doesn't hurt me, that works for me. And you're like, just the judgment is,
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
I was always afraid of that, and afraid that you would get discredited, like that your cleanness was discredited, or your recovery was discredited because you smoked. And I always thought this was like, I always despised this subject and didn't want to talk about it because of, you have, your two sides of the fence. And sometimes the one side can be hurtful. And when you're proud because you've stayed clean and you've done this work, because it's hard. I don't know about you. For me, my recovery work was more so about digging through my bullshit and my excuses and all the parts of me, the ugly parts that I did not nurture and that I was trying to like suppress and repress down and not handle. So for me, getting clean, I had to face all that, and being able to use the plant medicine, something that was able to help me ground in to do this work and see it from a different angle, see it from a more empowered position. It helps me want to just continue going within. It encouraged it. It held space for me to do it in. And I'm like, I just don't think it should discredit your recovery. I think it should be more an option or something that a tool that could be utilized for recovery.
If you can pop Xanax, no problem. Why can't you, smoke some weed? Like the thing is, there's just all these stigmas. And often if you're working a program of some sort, if you're in recovery, particularly for alcohol, then you get like labeled like marijuana maintenance plan and all this stuff. And it's like, so you still like, you're taking, Prozac and allergy pills and you're taking all your blood thinners and your muscle relaxers and like all this stuff. And that's fine. But I can't just, consume cannabis.
There was a point for me, and it was at that when I decided that I wanted to get clean and I wanted to handle all these issues that I was running from and numbing myself from, and I wanted to get help. I remember I was working in the health field, and at this time I was also going to school, all because I was trying to figure out what to do, how do I help myself? I want to help others too, but I can't even help myself at this point. And I used to help everybody but myself. And it, wasn't until this process that I learned I had to help myself first before I could help anybody else. And that's what I had to focus on, was helping myself. But I mean, the Western medicine had me at a point where I was 25 and I had a Ziploc bag full of prescriptions. And I remember looking at this and being like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is nuts. There's side effects from side effects for side effects. And they just keep adding more, upping my doses, and then it's one side effect after another. And I felt so weighed down and sludged down and numbed out and couldn't even function, and disconnected and disassociated. Like it was horrible.
Yes.
And I had the moment where I said, fuck it. I will sign everything over. And it's so funny because I was working 3 jobs, trying to go to nursing school, trying to work in the field, waitressing, cleaning, busting my ass. And I was trying to go from doing it with something that helped fuel me through it, my, ADD medicine and some, Percocet. And from there, I went to trying to do it clean and how to feel everything and how to face everything. And the prescription that they were giving me just added to it. It made it worse. It took having to, go all natural, move my body, listen to my body, learn about my body, finally acknowledge that my body was trying to tell me stuff that, but that was what helped me. It was the medicine helped me learn that stuff and start having that relationship. It held space for that. And still to this day, our relationship has grown, we're working with other plants too. And, it's a gift from God. It was here for us already. It's in the Bible. It's so pure.
Yeah,
Life.
it really is.
Yeah. So, and I think we should be celebrating you. Like, I felt so honored tonight when I heard and I read. I was like, this is so amazing, because we need to be celebrating this, because there's people out there that need to know that this is possible, that recovery is possible, and that they can too at some point be celebrating this is big. So I hope you share.
And I invite you to maybe we take a breath and reset, and now you just tell it the way you want to tell it, of how you chose to not, drink or do the other things. Because you were talking about, I just wake up and I don't want to. Maybe retell your story from your perspective and what has supported you and what you are celebrating.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's it's definitely been like an attachment to me. An identity was, I was a recovering alcoholic. It's like everybody I grew up with knows it, my whole family knows it. People saw me change. They saw me grow up, I guess, or whatever they saw me do. But I just know that I did get sober for 7 years right before my 21st birthday, and then had a 6-month relapse and got right back to where I was very quick. And as I was acting out and as I was sneaking wine in the bathroom, and I was right in this corner again, like a fucking corner, like I couldn't even believe. And again, so quick, like you're talking like 5 weeks. In 5 weeks, I was right back to being, I couldn't function. Like I could, but like, I just was like a prisoner again. Like I couldn't even get to the liquor store because I couldn't fucking get there. Couldn't drive. I had no one to call to help me get there. And it just put me right back into that whole corner again of just literally being a slave to your alcohol, to king alcohol. And I was grateful that I could say, fuck this. I'm done trying to do this, and get right back into a program for being, for sobriety. And working the program, like they say, you know, and having all the commitments, the responsibilities, and just doing the right thing and just not picking up a drink a day at a time. And it's very like, if I look at it now, you know, it is institutional. It's a lot of words, but it's definitely effective and it's life-saving. And I, again, don't knock anyone who's in a program or anyone who's trying to get sober right now and that's doing the work, because like it truly fucking helps. It was a way for me to realize how powerless I was, and have that surrender and that acceptance and like all those big words and all those life experiences that you seriously fucking need to like get through this shit on earth. Like it's these big words that keep you sane. So I learned so much, and I still apply all those principles to my life every day. I immediately, you know, I learned through 12-step programs that there's action, there's right action, and I focus on that. And I think that, you know, I honestly feel that I don't know where I would be if I had gotten clean and sober and was smoking pot. I don't know where 20-year-old Kendra would be. Now, on this side of it, I look at it and can see how there's so much more structure around it, like especially in New Jersey, medicinally, that people are being educated about it and that there are so many properties to it. And like Lexi was saying, just even manage stress, right? So like just that. That is my biggest reason for using marijuana is to manage my stress and keep my blood pressure down and keep my anxiety down. And these are all super common things that are, God, probably through 90% of the population, I would think. I mean, I feel like every time I have a conversation with somebody, it's stress and it's worry, it's depression, it's anxiety. And I just think it's a beautiful time for people to start realizing that you don't have to live that way. Like no matter what you were told or what's normal or it is what it is, you know, like that's all great. But at the end of the day, you really don't have to live like that. Like that's a choice. And I feel terrible. And I know that like addictions will just like wipe families out. They just fucking wipe families out. And I would imagine that people are scared of people who are in recovery to start using marijuana. And all I can say is that I did it and I don't regret it. I don't look at myself as an addict. I don't look at myself as somebody who failed or gave up on a program or did anything. Like I'm realizing more and more the more that I do continue to use it as a medicine on how I will never stop. Okay. I will never stop using it as a medicine. And if that makes me like some new kind of like drug addict or whatever, like honestly, that's fine with me. Like those words no longer attached to me. And that's 15 years. So this is 15 years was yesterday of no alcohol. So I have a little experience, but I have so much more to go. And all I know is that if you keep it simple, right? So if I just keep it very simple and I just don't pick up a drink every day, that I can continue to have that freedom and not be locked in the corner waiting for my fairy goddess to bring me a bottle of alcohol. That was, you know, like it just the closed-mindedness and the trap that I was setting for myself. It's very easy. It's a fucking drink away. Like that solitude and that desperation is literally for me one drink away. And that's, I really don't need to like go anywhere else with that, you know, like every day that's just what I say, like, and I don't know how bad my life would have to get right now where I would go back there. Like, I hope to God I never go back there. And I'm not saying I will never go back there because I have no idea what's going to happen. But like, to look at it from a sober point of view, I would just not make that choice right now for myself. I
honor
just,
that.
yeah, I mean, I would hope that anybody feeling like that right now, feeling down and feeling lost and in that corner that I'm talking about, that they would know that it literally is just a fucking step away to change it.
Honestly, I think it's like a reverse gateway drug for me. It was a gateway drug off all of my other shit. Because for those of you who don't know, Kendra and I shared like our stories the first episode. If you're just like tuning into Toke and Talk, like, and you want to go back and check it out, we've shared more of our stories. But like, brief synopsis of me, I had a shit ton of injuries. I broke my back a bunch. I had all kinds of really bad stuff happen to my body. And long story short, I had like an unlimited prescription to Vicodin and all of the muscle relaxers I wanted in the world, and like, you know, all kinds of shit that I didn't need, you know, perks, whatever. And like, they were just like, well, that's going to be it. Like, you're just going to be like, this is the new normal for you. And this is what your back's going to be like. And at one point I was on vacation with my brothers and I was like 25 and they're like, what if you like get, cause I was the same as Lexi was saying. I had all these different like, you know, like the brain fog and so many symptoms. And I felt like shit. And my body was like literally becoming just arthritic. And I just wasn't who I used to be. And so they were like, what if you just get off all your pills and do weed for a month and see what happens? And I didn't smoke at all. And in fact, I created a whole program in high school called Refuse to Use because I like went through all the programs and I thought like weed was like the worst thing out there. And Mama Canna was like, you know, horrible and all this stuff. I believed it because that's what I was taught. I didn't know. When that month was like one of the biggest spiritual awakenings, I was like, I was fucking lied to my whole life. Are you kidding me? I'm addicted to all these pills for like 7 years and I could have just smoked a little weed. I could have just what? Because all of a sudden everything just started to shift and change and I didn't need any of that. And in fact, I had another ankle surgery and I had a nerve block injury and I was put on all kinds of stuff for that surgery and I hadn't been on pills in forever. And I was on Lyrica and it made me go blind on and off. Like there was just so many things that just like it was horrible. And then once I had a surgeon who right after my surgery, he's like, I was in severe pain because they tied my dressing too tight. So I had like my circulation was being cut off, but they didn't know it because they didn't want to open it up for like a week, whole thing. But either way, I was in severe pain. And once they took that thing off and like my toes were blue, they were like, oh my God, no wonder you needed like more pain medicine.
Oh my God.
Like shit, you know, they're like, oh, this like, you know, little bitch needs some more pain medicine. And I'm like, you don't get it. Like, I'm a warrior. There's something wrong. I even went to the hospital and they gave me Dilaudid and everything, but they didn't open it up because they didn't want to get infected. So whatever, all divine. Anyway, they told me, they were like, you smoke weed, right? And I was like, yeah. And my surgeon was like, have you been smoking at all during this? And I was like, no. He's like, you need to. He's like, if you were like a chronic smoker or you were smoking like regularly and you stop it when you're getting like a major medical thing, it's going to really rock your system.
Wow.
And it really did. It really did. And once I started smoking again, it started to soothe everything and I started to feel a lot better.
Yeah. It's amazing how it just saves the fucking day, dude. Like every day it's
hangover, weed.
Yeah.
Whatever kind of hangover, emotional hangover, stress hangover, work hangover, alcohol hangover, all the things. It really, and Kendra brought a lot of light to what a wonderful expectorant it is too, while we're here in cold season and whatnot.
It is. It's so good. It gets all the, it's definitely an expectorant. So if you're sick with like the flu or Rona or allergies, whatever, like do some bong rips and just like get it all up.
Get it
I
up.
know. I was just
like
thinking,
baby Ryan.
Oh, hi Ryan.
I was gonna say I had asthma and I got to a point I quit smoking. And during that time that I was not smoking, I ended up with a nebulizer. I mean, and it was at the point where it was like a 2-year span that I didn't smoke. And it was seasonally getting so worse. Like it was each allergy season, like just threw another curveball. And it's been smoking. I don't use my inhaler. I don't, you know what I mean? There's like, I haven't had an asthma attack, and anything. And now I'm at the point where they're like, do you even have asthma? Because your lungs sound great.
See?
And
Mama
there was
Canna.
just some studies done. There's a really great, and I should share it for you guys to share, link to this site that just has really great articles about like how, you know, if you dab, don't dab too hot because then it can release toxins. So it just, and then like 7 ways to use your stems, like all different things. And then it was talking about studies about it being the expectorant, or, you know, for lungs and for breathing, and how good it is and beneficial. So
we will try to find that and post that in the comments of this episode. So people can
Yeah, it'd be
reference it.
awesome.
And I just want to, same thing. I have I've really healed it, a severe vocal cord dysfunction that was misdiagnosed as seasonal asthma, but I also did have a little bit of asthma too. And I had to go to, like, I had all these crazy things where my throat chakra basically was closing off, but my vocal cords, my throat was shutting off literally. And I had to go to like the ambulance all the time. And they thought I was having severe allergic reactions to something, but they didn't know what. It's getting all these EpiPens, and had to go to allergy testing for months. Turns out I had a vocal cord dysfunction, which is a newer, like more newly discovered condition. It's existed for a long time, but they've only really been studying it probably the past like 20 years hardcore. And I had like every symptom that you could possibly imagine. And I ended up going to this incredible speech therapist in Denver. And she was like, do you smoke? She's like, do you smoke cannabis? And I was like, yes. And she goes, oh, good. And I'm like, what? She goes, it's really been proven to really help with vocal cord dysfunction and opening things up. But a lot of times I got to spend time convincing my patients to give it a try and see if it'll aid them or help them. And I'm like, well, you just made it fucking day. And I was in there, she was like the best, because I was in there on like a scooter for my leg because I just had surgery. I'm like dealing with all this crazy vocal cord stuff and I couldn't like breathe, and I'm going to speech therapy. I had all these polyps growing in my sinuses and was going to this ear, nose, and throat and was supposed to have like all this surgery, but I couldn't because of the ankle surgery. There was like so many things happening all at once. This was in 2017 in my like big dark night of the soul. And it was so interesting how like once I was just like falling apart, how many different random places I got led back to Mama Canna. And like all the places I very least expected, like, you know, in mainstream medical and my surgeons.
Yeah.
Yep. All 3 of them had recommended it. Even the ear, nose, and throat was like, oh yeah. Cause I was like, oh, I do smoke cannabis. She's like, oh, that's fine. She's like, it's probably good. Nice. That was it. She was short. She was short on that one. I was like, okay.
See, I love it. And I did some research when we went to Jamaica on our honeymoon. I was like asking all sorts of questions. And I remember I was pregnant. So I remember this one lady, Jamaican lady, trying to talk us into staying on the island so she could be my midwife. And we were having this conversation, and they have some traditional practices with women. And it's a tea. I mean, they do it in different forms. They'll do it in the smoke form for cleansing, purification, alignment, connection. They do this like beautiful tea ceremony. I mean, it's used to like calm the nervous system. They believe they want a calm, peaceful delivery, a calm, peaceful mom. They use it in postpartum because in postpartum, all like they said that all there's cannabinoids already in breast milk, and so that it actually you know, they don't get anything that is altering, but they do, it helps them create that bonding. So that bonding, what's that? The bonding hormone. It helps like release the bonding hormone. It helps up their cannabinoid, which helps with like reduce colic and all of these things in SIDS.
Pheromones?
Yeah, pheromones. I think that's, yeah.
Awesome.
I love that. And I'm not a mom yet in this lifetime, but I have a lot of mom friends, and I know several who really advocate for using cannabis in their pregnancies and whatnot. I know other moms who swear by one glass of wine once a week. Everybody has all their like midwives tales and different things and stuff that support them. But I know at this point in my lifetime, and as much as I have healed, if I do end up having children, like I'm also like, I can't imagine, I don't know, maybe it'll change if it happens, but I kind of can't imagine like not using like cannabis in some way or another to support me during that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And then it's just, I was blessed to live in Colorado. I moved out there in 2013, like pretty much right when like cannabis became legal. And it was really neat. I was a social worker at the time. And so I kind of had like an inside to a lot of things going on in the community. Plus I followed the news a lot back then. I don't anymore, but I did back then. And I was being my good little self. And it was really nice to follow the stories about how much cannabis healed children and how many families were moving to Colorado with sick kids with epilepsy and horrible cancers and different diseases and leukemias and all kinds of stuff, and having these just wildly amazing results with
They're still doing it. They're still
cannabis
moving there.
medicines and oils. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still moving all over for it. And that's, that's why you just look around and go, what's going on? Like, why is this, like, for me, when I moved to Tennessee, like there's no medical program here and I just don't understand why. Like, it's just these invisible lines that we drive over and all of a sudden you can't get your medicine. And it's just interesting.
Are they fighting for it down there yet? Are their bills being, are there?
Honestly, I don't know.
But there's gotta be.
It's very I keep getting sidetracked to like look into it. So but there's plenty of natural medicine down here. There's tons of CBD, the Delta 8 and all that. So there's a big community of plant medicine down here, which is nice. I mean, it was probably more than I was used to in New Jersey, just because New Jersey everything was medical dispensaries, where down here it's more mom and pop homegrown stuff, but doesn't have THC, doesn't have the psychoactive properties of what you can get in New Jersey. But it's decent. There's stuff that has helped me. It's, I don't know. It's like I said, I could get on a bicycle right now and ride less than a mile and hit up 4 or 5 places to buy medicine right now if I needed it. So it's interesting that way, that it's more free, more available here. Like edibles and wax and dabs, it's all available here, but it's not THC. So that I'm still like,
coming soon there. And I bet there's
like, this is wow, like I actually just smoked something from the dispensary or from the shop down the street, and it's making me super tired. So I'm so sorry that I'm yawning, but like this thing's like, I don't know what CBD it is or what, but it's like totally putting me down. I'm like,
also just to get a little woo. If you're tuning into Toke to Talk, we're on Sea Goddess Healing Arts. If you wouldn't mind, if you're following along, give us a like, a follow, subscribe to. We've got a YouTube channel and Facebook and Instagram and all that good stuff. And we're very like connected to spirit. And we're both energy healers. We offer all kinds of services. I'm an intuitive ascension guide. Kendra's a crystal healer. Lexi does lymphatic massage and she's a medium and all kinds of amazing stuff. However, when like what Kendra did tonight by sharing her story and taking like some time to think about that and speak her truth in a way that, is a little taboo or a little hard or whatnot. Like once that's over, that's a huge energy release. So you're smoking weed, but you might be just tuning back on in after you just purged something really big.
No, I mean, that was huge. Yeah, that's why I love this show, because you really can work through some shit that is facing your fears, like literally, like you face your fear on this show. I remember how I felt when we first started and how hesitant I was, because I was just so scared to smoke on video. Like it's crazy to me. So I've come a long way. Baby steps, but I'm excited to see where this keeps going, because you just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, right?
You just don't know. And
Yep.
I'm loving all of our tokes and talks, and they've been absolutely beautiful. And we've had wonderful guests. If you're interested in coming on and being a guest, let us know. Email us at tokenatalk@gmail.com. We've got a Facebook page for Token and Talk and for Instagram coming soon. Right now, you can follow us on Sea Goddess Healing Arts, and you can always follow us on Sea Goddess Healing Arts. But we're also going to have some separate Token and Talk stuff coming to you soon as well. And there's past episodes and all kinds of information. And yeah, maybe, hey, if you're in Tennessee and you know what's going on there with the laws and you want to let us know, we would love to have you. Or if there's a story you want to tell about how it's changed your life or what you're doing to advocate for it, or just really anything, shoot us an email, let us know. We would love to connect with you.
Yeah, I love connecting with people, especially on Instagram. So if anybody wants to follow my page, I'm at Camtastic, KHAMTASTIC. You can DM me and let me know if you're interested to be a guest. It'd be awesome. Mandy, real quick, I just wanted to touch on something because it just keeps coming up because of this episode. But like, I just want to address like mental illness here real quick because for me, the alcoholism was mental illness, and it took me a minute to really get honest about that when I first started getting clean and sober. But I also knew, like I was telling you guys, like through alcoholism, I just went to this very dark, small little corner of my mind, and I literally was stuck there. And, to me, that is mental illness when you are just so encapsulated by this problem, like that you can't function. And, I see it all the time. And I know that I started going to therapists young because I was alcoholic, but I was not being treated for alcoholism. I was being treated for depression and anxiety and whatever else I was. But I was like this raging alcoholic, that was just trying not to be an alcoholic. That was just trying to be normal. So like I would go to these doctors and then I'd get a cocktail of pills to try. And I would think that this was going to fix me. And then I'd get discouraged because it wasn't fucking fixing me. And like you said, you were getting all these other side effects or whatever. And then I'm just dumping the alcohol on top
you just
of it.
feel like you're dying.
Yeah. And then I'm just dumping the alcohol on top of it. Right. So it's like, I can't be the only one that went through that especially at that age. You know what I mean? Like, I think kids younger and younger now are really struggling, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what did it. I don't have a fix. I just know that it's fragile when you're dealing with mental illness, and then to throw a cocktail at them, and then them as the patient, you are waiting for this quick fix that you're just never going to find. So cannabis, right, I honestly can say is a quick fix for me. It immediately works. So as I hit or smoke a bowl or a joint or whatever, this beautiful, comforting, calming feeling takes over, right? Like it just does. And it just does what the fuck it's supposed to do. And I don't know. I feel like that is probably like it's not a cure-all. It's not a cure-all. Like I can't say like, that this is going to work for you or one puff's going to do it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's beautiful how this plant, you have no expectation for it, but it always delivers and it always does exactly what you need. And it's gentle and it's kind and it's natural. So it's just
mama.
It's more in harmony with anything that I've ever been given or treated with. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's natural. So anybody who has never done it, maybe you're tuning in, and I could just honestly say that I'm not encouraging you to do anything. I'm just letting you know that it is safe. And if you're maybe a parent who's struggling with deciding whether or not to treat a child with it, someone who's having seizures, like Mandy said, or people with Crohn's disease, or people with anything, diabetes, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes people. This is a great way to calmly step into a more natural way to heal yourself, and I don't know, I had to bring that up because it's again one of those subjects that nobody really wants to touch, or offend or whatever, but it's real. Mental illness is real, and alcoholism is it's a mental illness.
Yeah. And on one of our earlier episodes, we had our friend, an incredible grower, Serena, on, and she brought a lot of light to that because it really helped her heal her anxiety. It helped me heal my anxiety. It helped me to connect to
Yep.
spirit. It helped me to do my shadow work, as Lexi was hinting earlier and talking about all that. Shadow work
Yep.
is going deep within your traumas and dramas and releasing the emotional hold that they have over you physically and mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all the things. And that takes active and conscious work. And it actually takes physical work as well. And we have to change and move this energy out of us. And as much as we wish healing could be instant and overnight, it really does take a little bit sometimes, especially with your bodies. If you break your leg, you're not going to yell at it to be all better the next day. You got to do what you got to do to rest it, and then to work its muscles out and start strengthening it. And it's the same thing with your mental health. And for me, cannabis has really supported that. I have some very close friends who used to smoke and then got crazy anxiety and can't smoke at all anymore with it, or it makes their anxiety worse. So like, to each their own. For me, it makes it way better. I also think if you have anxiety, there's some seriously other things that are contributing to that we at Sea Goddess Healing Arts would love to support and help you with, because there's all kinds of ways to help yourself with that. And we can teach you some of those tools. Lexi, what's going on over there? I want to check in with you. Hi, Lex and Rye.
So yeah, I wanted to add to that. It's one of those tools for your coping toolkit. It's a healthy tool. It's like, I think it should be looked at as a healthy tool and destigmatized, because people in recovery work is hard. And anybody who is, it doesn't matter where you are in your addiction or your recovery, it's hard. Life is hard, period. But it's, it helps it helps so much in ways. It can be of help. It can be of service. And I don't think anybody should be denied something to help them better their lives, or to help them heal and align with their healing. And it's one of those things where, as a mom, it was my biggest fear ever. To go public with this, right? Yet you have moms meeting up or bringing, their thermoses full of their mimosas or whatever to the, the soccer games. And, moms, it's a tough subject, but it's like, we should be more supporting each other instead of criticizing each other. And I feel like this plant is very much so supportive of that. And
it helps you bond as sisters. It helps you break down those barriers, especially when you come out of the canna closet and find another person who was in the canna closet, and then you have like somebody who you can bond with.
Yeah, I mean, and you just bond different when you're around the good old mama cannabis,
Yeah, it's that, there's such a connection in it. And like, when you go into plant medicine, and I've been really diving into plant medicine, and it's so beautiful because like each plant has like a message and lessons and love and gratitude. And as I dive into it with this plant and others, it reminds me of that like connectedness and that bond, and to find strength in the storms, to help you like weather those storms of life, and remind yourself that these storms that bring this rain are here to help you grow. So I just love how, and like with stones, stones are made under pressure. So it's like beautiful things come from difficult situations and weathering storms and being under immense amount of pressure. So it's just like natural reminders from Mother Earth and from the universe, that it's healing's possible. Beautiful things are to come from the mess and the hardship and the challenges.
We can hope. That's awesome. I love that it's a weed it'll just grow anywhere.
Thank you both so much for such a beautiful and honest and raw and real and light, amazingly high lit conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for honoring me and celebrating with me, because I really appreciate it. And, a lot of that stigma and judgment was coming out where I was like, I'm not even gonna celebrate this. Like, I'm really not sober. Like, I entertained that for a couple days, and then I was like, no, man, I fucking am. I'm proud of myself. I'm happy to really look back and say, a fucking day at a time, I did this, and anyone can do it. Like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Like, you literally just need to fucking want it. And it's, the world is your oyster. It's easier to quit shit than to start shit. Like, I've been really thinking about that lately. Like, we think it's so hard to quit things, but it's the opposite. Like, you're not taking anything on. You're literally just throwing something down, and you're getting more time and energy back. It's a very great exchange when you could quit shit. So
yeah,
I'm trying
reverse gateways here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to focus on right now, because there's some other stuff in my life right now it's not alcohol hurting me, but it's hurting me, and I need to just quit it. I need to just get rid of it.
And
So,
definitely, like, anything that we can honor that we've released that's no longer serving us, like,
yeah.
And I think we like that's huge, and you deserve to celebrate not drinking for 15 years. Like, that's incredible. Like, somebody who hasn't had a soda that long to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, and like the other thing is, I think it's really important that we re-stigmatize maybe what the hell it means to be sober.
Right. Yeah.
Like, my definition of sober and other people, particularly like alcoholics' definition of sober, are very fucking different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I consider real sober to be people who've like done some serious emotional work and look at all the addictions on all the different levels, in our wheel.
To hear Kendra say about how like she wasn't going to celebrate because of it, I want to be 100% honest. I haven't been claiming to anybody that I've been clean because of this.
Yeah.
Because there's been a couple things that I'm like, honestly, I'm not to some people's standards, because obviously because of this and this, and it prevented me from celebrating things that I should be celebrating. And I think we should, and I want to celebrate you. And I want to make it more normal to start celebrating these things, because we need to celebrate this. We're doing it and showing up for ourselves in that daily work. And that is something to celebrate. And we deserve to feel good about ourselves that we've done it. And honestly, sharing too about it. I know there's people out there that you never know when that seed is planted, or maybe they feel the same way, that they haven't been able to acknowledge it because they think something's preventing it, and we deserve it. And so you're making me feel like ready to take my stance too and celebrate.
Right.
I'm coming up on 9 years. So
Woo!
I hadn't said anything, and people were doing like the 10-year challenge photos, and I was like, that was about the time almost. And I'm like, I've never considered celebrating because it's always been my dirty secret. You know what I mean? I was always so ashamed that I was in recovery and that I went down that road. And just recently I took my power back, and I was like, no, I'm not ashamed. That's my story. That was my journey. And guess what? I could have done this, this, and this. And instead I've learned all these things through it, and it's led me here, and I wouldn't be where I am today. If I didn't go through all of that. I didn't have all those struggles, and I didn't make it through all those challenges, and have all those, those so-called issues and hurdles to have to jump over and overcome. So it's time to be proud of it. Time to celebrate and, use it for our fire to move forward.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are some of the few who've been able to make it through the fire, through the gauntlet, survive it, and then start to transmute that and begin to thrive. And like, that does deserve to be cherished. Like, how many funerals do we go to where we wish we could celebrate people and be proud of them for making it? Like, it's just ridiculous. So we're bringing that back.
Yay.
Celebrate the good times.
Come
Come
on.
on.
Yeah, it's so true, Lexi. Thank you. And I'm so happy that you and I share that, because it's not like, it's hard. It's just, it's hard. You just want to hide. So we're out. Here we are. And
Out of the canna closet.
yeah, we're out of the canna closet on this
And you
one.
know what?
And
I think it's time, and I don't know. There's some good studies out there, and there's some great people that are on the same page as us and wanting to bring it to light. And it might be a space or a container we should create,
yeah,
one for people, where they can come and just a space, because I feel like I'm meeting people every day or just now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't even realize how many people have felt the same way or gone through something, and they have these awesome stories that light you up too,
yeah,
stories of healing and overcoming things. Those we need to share, and when it lights our lights, it can help light others, or help
Yeah.
people find their light. So it's time to make that change, and the change is now. It's here. You girls
Yeah.
have already started, so we're going to continue that wave.
That's right.
And hold sacred space for all, no matter where you are on your journey. There's
Yeah.
encouragement and empowerment is here for all.
Mhm.
And it doesn't
Hell
matter
yeah.
what your addiction is.
That's right. Ooh,
It is
excuse me.
now. It is now. The time is now. We can trust in today. I was looking over at my Louise calendar affirmation for today. For Saturday, we're recording this on Saturday, January 8th. I relax and trust in the order of today. I have faith in the perfect unfoldment of my life.
That's
I love
awesome.
that one. It's all about trust. It's all about faith. And it's all about just showing up for yourself each day and doing the best you can. And if you can find your medicines that work for you, I think every single human needs a toolbox of their own little medicines that work for their own amazing little unique selves to get through this wild and crazy earth school. For us,
Yep.
cannabis is one of our main medicines. It really supports us. I
Yep.
openly say, hey, if I don't need it one day and it falls away, great. I'll say thank you. But right now, I'll still use it as toilet paper, I'm sure. But right now, it really supports me. So that's what this is all about. And we just encourage you at the end of the day to, even if you're just watching this because someone you love uses this as a medicine and you're trying to understand that, thank you for showing up for us and for your loved one, and helping to become curious about it, to release the fear around it so that we can find peace with it and let it be the peace plant that it is, and pass the peace pipe and keep that energy going. Thank you both so much. As I said before, this is Toke and a Talk. We are here on Sea Goddess Healing Arts. You can follow us, like us, subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We have a website, seagoddesshealingarts.com. If you're interested in being a guest, or if you want a certain topic or share information with us, shoot us an email at tokeandatalk@gmail.com, and keep your eye out on socials, because we are going to be releasing a Facebook page and an Instagram page and probably a YouTube channel just for Toke and a Talk as well. So you will always find us on Sea Goddess, but we will also have our own thing. Lexi, thank you so much for holding soul space with us today and sharing with us. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here, and I'm so grateful for the two of you for creating this beautiful
Love you.
Hi.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
Bye.
Knuckles,
Yeah.
can you give some knuckles out? Give knuckles. Knuckle power.
Awesome. Good night, you guys.
And I love
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Kendra,
Thank you.
real quick before we go, how can people get a hold of you, and what are you offering right now? What's some of your magic out here in this world?
Oh, yes. Well, right now I'm running a special through the end of January for 20% off of one of my distance healings. So I would love for any client, anybody who felt called, to reach out to me for a crystal Reiki session or a custom grid. I love what I do. So you can always find me on seagoddesshealingarts.com website. You could book a service. You could also email me, Kendra at higherselfhealingnj.com. You should want to reach out and ask me a question or whatever. I would love to do a consultation with you, and see if there's a way I can assist you in learning how to bring some crystal energy into your home or just into whatever you're calling in. So thank you. But yeah, so 20% off through January, and I hope to hear from you.
Whoop, whoop. And if you're looking for more content or support on the spiritual side, we just produced and sent out our January soul broadcast, which is our blog. You can find that on the Sea Goddess Healing Arts website under blog. And it's incredible. We put in ways to practical tools and tips. I wrote a few in there to help you manifest and harness all these energies. We have some classes coming up. We have Venus retrograde starting. We're in Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde starting. So Ursula Duffy, our astrologist, and I have a class through that. It's recorded for the next 3 weeks as well as live. So if you miss it, you can always jump in later. So check that out. And there's just so many more other beautiful things coming to support you. And we're so glad that you're along for this ride with us. So until then, we pass the peace pipe to you, and we thank Mama Canna, and we thank you all for holding the space with us. Have a great night, beautiful sisters. Bye-bye.
Love you. Thank you.
Love you.
Bye. Beautiful.